Hello, everybody, and welcome. Racing today on this Wednesday, the 23rd of November. It's Summer Cup week, is down at Kenilworth. Hollywood bets Kenilworth for a 9-race program, very competitive. And as we've been saying for some weeks now, some good quality racing. I must say that my eye was drawn towards the weekend where the first 2-year-olds are out in Cape Town and some big fields there. So that bounce factor I've been speaking of, which Justin Vermaak very much involved in, is certainly there to be seen. That's a terrific couple of races with the 2-year-olds, and always interesting to look at those pedigrees. I see there's some Lancaster Bombers and Erupts and all sorts. So some quality racing to look forward to. But of course, on the weekend up here in Johannesburg, it's the Summer Cup. But for now, I'm going to focus in on the Kenilworth race meeting, just getting straight into a Place Accumulator. I'll give you some advice as I see it there. And as you know, these days, abbreviated previews from my end. Having spoken to Nico this morning, we are changing our tact and track a little bit here on Clocking the Gallop. So watch this space. But here's my abbreviated look at the PA at Kenilworth today, which hopefully will help a few punters. Let me share with you and pick the right one. Here we go. And take you through what we've got for today. So the Place Accumulator is going to start with race 3. It's a middle stakes over 2,400 meters. And I thought it was quite a competitive race. There are a couple of scratchings overnight that haven't been updated. So in this race, number 4, Dubai Lights comes out, although that was a 16-to-1 shot anyway. Number 2, Double Check is well in here at the weights because it's a middle stakes race. And won last time carrying 52 kilograms, will carry only 50 and a half here, although she's gone up from a 72 to a 78, but she remains with featherweight on her back. So I'm sure she will be competitive. Number 2, Double Check, being a daughter of Twice Over out of a Strike Smartly mare, and she had no problem with the 2,400 last time. I think she'll be effective again. Stable companion is number 3, The Future is Bright, for one of my real old friends, John Rycroft. Good to see him still owning horses, and he's done so. My word, let me think. Midnight Run, that must have been John might remind me. It's reminded me once before in the 80s, I think. So what are we now? 80s, 90s, 20s. This is a fourth decade. It must be something like 35 years ago. So yeah, I think The Future is Bright to run well, but I think that there are some perhaps surprise options here. Number 1, Coup de Main, carrying 51 kilograms, should be carrying 50, but Cabello Metziano can only carry 51, which is pretty understandable. And number 5, Chewbacca, is another one. Keegan DeMella rides. There's cheek pieces on that, but has to shoulder 62 kilograms. You might be okay with the PA of numbers 2 and 3, the 2 Snaith runners, but if you're looking for a surprise, I wouldn't object if you popped in one or maybe one other. That's the opening leg of the PA. Remember, Dubai Lights is scratched. Let's move on to race 4. Well, this should be a real good race to watch. Silvano's Timer is a really nice horse. He's got an upwardly mobile profile. His last run, I know he ran 5th, but the company he kept was terrific. He ran behind Jet Dark and was actually doing some work late on. He passed a couple of runners. He raced off a 105. He doesn't change his rating here, and he's drawn 1. Yes, he's got 59 kilograms to carry, but I think he will certainly be a force to be reckoned with. And I don't believe that he'll have a problem with a 1800. He's a Silvano out of a Captain Al mare. Is there anything that caught my eye at a bigger price? Well, pushing the envelope a bit, I'm going to probably bank a number 1, Silvano's Timer, in my PA anyway. I see there's money for Somerset Morn, Richard Ferree and Justin Snaith. Well, they're in hot form, so beat Han Solo, of course, at Durbanville last time, and was giving Han Solo a kilogram. Han Solo has subsequently gone to the PE, to the Eastern Cape, and won that feature race. Strangely enough, I thought number 4, Chalima, at a very big price of 25-to-1, would run a better race. He was actually behind as Han Solo in that Algoa Cup, but it wasn't well drawn that day. And back home in the Cape Province, it could be a surprise package, but I'm not so sure he's a PA horse. He was just maybe a speculative place bet in that race. That's number 4, Chalima. But for me, Silvano's Timer, I'm going to take my chances and banker in the PA. Let's move on to race 5. And I think actually my studying from last night is starting to jolt my memory. I actually thought that Keegan DeMello might have a really good day today, and likewise Dean Canamere. So let's see if that pans out as we continue to look at the next race, which is race 5. And money here for number 5, Nothing Else Matters. This is Glenn Cotson's son of Elusive Fort. Got some nice form behind it, Galactic Path and Pardon. Twice the master last time. Was finishing pretty strongly and always seems to find support in the betting market. Today's no different. Opened up at 33 to 10, is now 5 to 2. But I thought that it was a trappy little race, this. The horse I liked a little bit value-wise was number 7, Policy Target. Keegan DeMelo rides. As I say, I think Keegan might have a good day. This horse hasn't always cracked a good draw. In fact, his last 5 starts, he's had a draw of 8 out of 8, 9 out of 10, and 10 out of 10. He's cracked a slightly better draw here of 7 out of 10. But with the booking of Keegan DeMello, I think number 7, Policy Target, might offer a little bit of value. Hasn't really been any support for anything else. I think there's a few jockey changes to note as well here. Number 6, Southern Song, will now be ridden by Gareth Wright. Remember, Louis Nkotra's not riding today. Devon Lorena also not taking the trip to Cape Town. So number 2, Admiral Burnham, will be ridden by Devon Ashby. And just on that note, good to have Devon Ashby back. I think this is his first meeting back after an unfortunate accident. So I'm glad that he's made a relatively speedy recovery. And, we wish Devon all the best back in the saddle. So that's race 5. That's a classified stakes race. Of course, if you follow the best weighted column, as many do in the classified stakes races, that leads to number 8, Quartermain, who is owned by Alf Duncan, who's... Alf Duncan's pretty jammy with horses. He tends to have some very talented ones, and Quartermain likely to run well if you follow the best weighted column. But for me, I'm going to stick around with numbers 5 and 7 in that race. But again, I wouldn't begrudge you if you wanted to add something. Let's move on to race 6, shall we? This is the first leg of the last jackpot, the second jackpot, maybe worth having a look at. We've got a scratching here in the form of number 8, Futurissimo. The betting, number 1, Future Swing. This is Richard Furry, Justin Snaith for Drakenstein Stud. The Isdales and Ravi Naidu, of course, had that tremendous winner on the weekend. Is 2 to 1 and is joint favourite with number 3, Kitchakal, which is Duncan Howells. Don't know if this is Duncan's first runner in the Western Cape. Probably not, because this horse ran on the 30th of October, so it might be his second runner, but the first run. Other way around. Second run, but the first runner that he had. And that was a very good run last time out. Keegan DeMello keeps the ride, and hard not to respect his pedigree and his form. So he's got to carry 60 kilograms, but he does have to give 2.5 kilograms to number 1, Future Swing, which is, I think, the reason why number 1, Future Swing, will be competitive. Jockey change here, number 2, To the Moon and Back. Sean Veal rides that. Sean is riding particularly well in the Western Cape, and long may that continue. He's got a new lease of life down there, so another rider that you have to take cognizance of. By the way, Cabello Matsiana picks up a ride here, number 5, Gimme More Time as well. So from a PA perspective here, I would, I certainly would think that number 3, Kitchakal, is going to be hard to knock it out of the PA, even though it's carrying 60 kilograms. But I would double it up with number 1, Future Swing, who receives that 2.5. So 1 and 3 for me in that race. There's a touch of money for Max the Otter. Max the Otter, interesting. It's got a couple of my mates owns this horse, apart from Mar Shirtliff and team. Gary Lemke's got a share of it. And I remember sending Gary a WhatsApp saying he's got a nice horse on his hands when the son of Vercingetorix won his maiden. And he ran a pretty nice race last time behind Running Rifles. So not without a chance. He's got to carry 59, though. So both Kitchakal and Max the Otter got a little bit more pudding than number 1, Future Swing, in that race, which I think could be significant. But from a PA point of view, all 3 of those should be on the premises. Let's move on to race 7. I haven't really found any value for you yet, but I will do in the last 3 races because they are more open, I believe. Let's start with the 3rd race. Let's see if there's any card changes. No scratchings or card changes at the time of me reporting this. Money for number 4, Tchaikovsky. Well, when he reeled off his 3 back-to-back victories, he was super impressive, the son of Pomodoro, out of the Argosy Mare Symphony of Joy. And his last two runs haven't been bad at all. He doesn't run a bad race. But the thing is, he's got to carry 60 kilograms. So from a win bet perspective, I'm going to be shopping around looking for some value. This is a middle stakes race. So again, the fillies could look well in here. In particular, number 7, Different Face, who drifted from 6-1 to 7-1, but on a couple of lines of form, might have number 6, Porquet de Vas, beaten. And there has been money for Porquet de Vas from 12-1 through 10-1 into 8-1. She's a filly. The penultimate start, she was drawn poorly at Durbanville, as she was the run before that. And she's drawn okay here at 6. So I certainly give her a lively chance, number 7, Pork de Vas. But as I mentioned, on a line through her and being a filly, and my value play in the race would be number 7, Different Face, at 7-1 now. If you're looking for an even bigger lurker, then number 9, Silver Salmon, could be a horse to fit the bill. This horse, back in his 2-year-old career, ran in the Gold Medallion. He ran behind Ambiorix. I'd ignore his run after that, but he came back to Kenilworth and ran in some 92 and 86 merit-rated handicaps. And he's shown spatterings of form. He was well beaten by Tchaikovsky last time they met, but he's been rested, and Cabello's only carrying 54. So he looks pretty well in here. He could certainly pop up, as indeed could number 8, Master of Africa, who's the stable companion to the favourite, and I think might also get a blow in here. The other horse who's very well handicapped in here, I'm surprised he actually is as well handicapped as he is on multiple lines, is number 5, Bluff on Bluff. Now, at his penultimate start, we actually made him our price booster of the day. I labelled him as the price booster at a big price of 8-1, and he duly arrived. Last time he ran below expectations, but JP van der Merwe's on him today, and I think he'll run quite well. So bottom line, this is an open race for me. I respect Tchaikovsky, but I'm looking for value across the following horses: 7, Different Face, 5, Bluff on Bluff, and even horses like 9, Silver Salmon, and 8, Master of Africa. Right, my computer says I'm running low on battery, so I'm going to quickly do a soft shoe shuffle and plug it in. Right, let's carry on and get back into the shared screen for our next race, which is going to be race 8, a fillies and mares handicap. So obviously, by definition, that's pretty trappy. Okay, so we've got race 8, fillies and mares at 84. Here's the betting for this. Oh, it hasn't gone to that race. I need to go back to that quickly. Race 8 update for you. Right, now we're in business. Let's quickly catch up on the scratching. So number 3, Magnetic Dime, is out. And as far as jockey changes are concerned, Craig Bantam rides the 4, Pulpa. The betting here, well, money for number 5, Priceless, quite a lot of it, really. There was lots to like about this Daughter of Dynasty's victory. I do like goalkeeper mares at stud, and this raised the bar, has given birth to another one with plenty of ability. Super impressive turn of foot. Cabello rides 54 kilograms, and I'm not surprised there's been money for number 5, Priceless, who looks pretty well in here of 54 kilograms. No real support for anything else. There's been a touch of support for number 1, Totally Rocks. This is Dennis Dreyer and Sean Veal. I mentioned Sean's in good form. Uncle Den is in good form as well. Drawn 1, which is going to be a bonus up the straight, and is a Daughter of Camford Cliffs. So, yeah, you could make a case out, but the fact is that Totally Rocks has to carry 58. I'm not in the opinion that she can give number 5, Priceless, 4 kilograms and a beating. Where there might be something to trouble 5, Priceless, if she doesn't run up to her best form, is perhaps number 7, Give Me a First. I mentioned Dean Canamere and Keegan DeMelo. Good debut, equally as impressive as Priceless on that debut. Subsequently, 2 poor runs, but can't get away from the fact that that's not her best form. And I think that she will offer us a lot more today. So number 7, Give Me a First, if you're looking for a slightly better value option, well, she's at 6-1, 6.5-1 in the betting. Just over the page, Bonica is very capable on her day, but she has top weight to carry here. She's got to carry 60 kilograms. So can she give 6 kilograms to Priceless and a beating? I think that's quite a tall order. I prefer the chances of maybe an older filly like number 10, Fearless Trip, at a rank outsider's price. but she's drawn 10. I prefer to have her drawn along the fence. So to sum up that race, I do think number 5, Priceless, sets a high standard. Impressive debut, might be more to come there. Maybe number 7, Give Me a First, is the danger. Let's move on to the 9th and last race and give you the scratching here, which is number 2 comes out in the last race. That's Quandary. As far as jockey changes are concerned, do we have any? Yes, we've got 2. Cabela Mazziano rides number 3, Red Impact, and JP Van der Merwe picks up the ride on number 6, Birdie and Bogey. Right. The favourite is number 3, Red Impact, and got a shoulder 61.5 kilograms here. I'll be looking to try and get that beat, to be honest. I think there's a couple there, and I'm going to default again to the Dean Canamere, Keegan DeMelo, and Kaya Stables combination. So we've got number 4, Cheeky Laddie here, who is at 3-1 in the betting market. If you look at the last 3 draws, wasn't well drawn. 3 runs ago, 7 out of 13. Last time, 7 out of 11. Between that, in the Durbanville race, was drawn 9 out of 9 behind Inamore, who's won again since. So that's quite good form. So for me, number 4, Cheeky Laddie, was the go-to horse here. If he doesn't improve, I think he will, but if he doesn't, then I think it's got quite an open look about it. You've got to respect number 6, Birdie and Bogey, with JP Van der Merwe on. Number 9, Swift Action, has been pretty consistent, carries just 57.5 kilograms. But I see the blinkers are off there. Number 5, Kimball O'Hara, is an interesting horse. He's got 59 kilograms to shoulder. I'd probably prefer it if he had less. He was backed as though they knew the result behind Ragnar Lothbrok and didn't really produce. And since then, he also hasn't run up to his best form. He had an excuse at his penultimate start. He was drawn 11 out of 12. So he might pop up here, particularly with the Richard Furry and Justin Snake combination. Hard to leave them out. And he does get, 2.5 kilograms from Red Impact, which I think could make him pretty competitive. I spent quite a bit of time on this race, and actually, when I studied for the 3rd time, even a horse like Pashton Wali popped up on my radar on a couple of form lines. Let me see if I can find out which form line it was. Yes, it was on a line through Swift Action. If you like Swift Action, which is 5-1, on the Durbanville 12th of October run, Pashton Wali's actually 0.5 kilogram better off with Swift Action and beat him by a length and a quarter. So, and I mentioned already Sean Veal riding well. So this race, I think, might be a bit deeper than at first glance, and I'll be playing it accordingly. From what I see as far as betting is concerned, I don't know if there's that much value in the race. As much as I like Cheeky Laddie, 3-1 is a bit skinny in that kind of race. But those are my thoughts for today's Kenilworth race meeting. I will be doing a soccershop.bet price booster a little bit later on. So the lads will be giving us some extended odds. As always, we're looking for a bit of value wherever we go, trying to find double figure horses. And we'll continue to do that for you on the other platforms. So keep an eye open on social media. For myself, Neil, have a good day's racing. Nice competitive card. I like Keegan DeMelo today. Keegan DeMelo, Dean Canamere, and Kaya Stables. I think they might have some nice horses to follow in a sort of each way Yankee if you're looking for something to follow for some interest at Kenilworth today. Break a leg.